Hello there, my name is Michael, and welcome back to Neverwinter Nights, the Saga of Aielund Act 1 playthrough. I'm sorry it's been so long since I've done this, but never mind that. Let's continue with the story. We just finished up doing a lot of the ancillary quests next to the town of Bracksford, the city of Cultney, and then going into the Calispur Ranges to take care of some monster problems that they had down there and racking up some decent experience. And now we're going to go take on the barbarian threat, these savages that are lurking in the corners of the town that we need to destroy. And unfortunately, I have to get this gate open, but I have to get the guard to officially, let me open it. I can't just leave, so I have to go talk to, I think, the base commander here and see what she has to say about all of this. Hello, is there something you need, citizen? I'd like to get out of the East Gate, I think. Why? Do I need a reason? I'm afraid so. My scouts have reported a vast barbarian army building up to the southeast, and their patrols extend only an hour's walk east of here. Just how dangerous is it? They're looking for blood, if that's what you mean. Someone's beating the war drums, and we're the most likely target. What are you going to do about them? Until we re-establish contact with High March, I'm preparing for the worst. There aren't many soldiers here and would be lucky to survive an attack, let alone go in the offensive. Well, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Thanks for your time, Commander. So, tragically, I think this means that we have to go talk to the mayor, irritatingly, and get him to sign off on this, and then come back here and speak to Commander Tara Redburn. Yeah, she's not gonna go through this. Okay, so I think we can rob her desk here, by the way, and go through all of these foot lockers and get all of this stuff. I don't know what would happen if they catch us stealing. I don't know if that's even a thing in this game, if they could find you stealing and, I don't know if they would attack you or arrest you. I don't think anything would happen, but... Greetings, what news? I was wondering if you'd heard from High March regarding the Barbarians yet. As it happens, I received word last night. An important dignitary who wishes to remain anonymous is coming in from the south, and so we need to do something about the Barbarians as soon as possible. I'd like to know more about what's going on before I offer any suggestions. Little dangerous. Of course, go and talk to Tara Redburn, the local garrison commander. She'll be able to fill you in on the details. I want this taken care of promptly. And I shall speak with Commander Redburn right now. Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to have a nap before the VIP arrives. Okay, so we can go back and speak to Commander Tara Redburn to see what she has to say about this. Hello, is there something you need, citizen? Yes, the mayor told me to come and speak to you about the barbarians to the east. I think you could have just done this. I don't think I should have had to go to the mayor. I suppose he wants me to deal with several hundred raving psychotics, with only 24 soldiers on my command. All I know is that a dignitary of some importance is coming from High March soon, and he wants the situation resolved. No pressure, huh? Well, let's get down to it. What do you know of them at the moment? Quite a fair bit, actually. Apparently the local ranger commander, Armin Wise, sent in a man to investigate all he could from the region. Yeah, his name's Tommy Smith. Damn good ranger. If anyone can find out what's going on, it'll be him. What has he discovered so far? The barbarians have been peacefully living on the southern mountains for many years, until a few months ago when the leadership was changed. The new chief, Erag, is a half-orc, and like most of them, he's a brutal, vicious bastard. I see, you know what, very true. That's what half-orcs are like. Most of them. Erag's whipped the rest of them up into a frenzy, and they've been preparing for war for weeks now. What would happen if Erag was to meet an untimely end? Hard to say. Either the rest of them would go on a killing spree to honor him, or give you a big sloppy kiss for freeing them from tyranny. I don't like either of those options. Heh, I know what you mean. I'd rather die than be kissed by 200 barbarians. Perish the thought, Commander. I'd like to investigate this area for myself. Any objections? Not as such. You seem fairly well seasoned, so I think you can take care of yourself. Just remember, you probably won't be able to take on the entire army by yourself. Kill Erag, grab his head, and get out of there, preferably in one piece. Oh, and the high plains are frozen solid this time of year, so I suggest you equip yourselves with winter cloaks before you head out. Good. Here's a pass for the East Gate. Don't let the guard give you any lip about this. Tom's a new recruit and a bit green, and still has to learn how to hold his tongue. I'll keep him in line. Someone else named Tom. So now, finally, we can go to the gate, I think they said the East Gate, and leave and continue on with the penultimate section of Act 1 of the Saga of Aielund. And I just have to stress how excellent they do with setting up everything, because so many things that happen right now in this section is sort of like a It's a preamble for everything that happens later on. Right now I'm a level 5 Bard, level 1 Red Dragon Disciple. Red Dragon Disciple is really something I probably should have classed into maybe when I was like level 10 or something. Anyway, I really think I should have waited a while before going into Red Dragon Disciple, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I think I'm going to go for Red Dragon Disciple 2 next round. I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, we're not going to be going to the Barbarians just yet, before the air in the crypt is stale and dusty cobwebs line the ceiling. I love the flavor text there. I think that's really cool. So inside of this tomb, we have this spirit of a knight who's going to give us a quest. Another visitor comes seeking my gifts, I'll wager. Who were you? I am the spirit of Sir Augustus Charleston. I remain here to see that my equipment is passed along to a worthy recipient. Do I qualify? That remains to be seen. To prove your worth, you must undergo 3 tests, one of strength, valor, and honor. Know that there is great peril involved here. It is even possible for you to die. So if I'm unworthy, you'll kill me? That seems kind of harsh. In a matter of speaking, yes. Not directly, of course, but each test must have a risk factor or the trial is meaningless. Fear not, if you are strong, brave, and honorable, you will survive. So what must I do to complete your tests? Complete them one at a time. The first test is of strength. Defeat the beast at the end of the hall, then bring me one of its horns. I shall return with the horn, thus proving my strength in battle. I am a spellcaster, though, so that's the spirit I'm looking for. I shall remove the door, allowing you to proceed. Here we go. Yeah, so I'm an arcane spellcaster, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of strength, to be honest. So yeah, all right then. I mean, I'll go try. I mean, really, it's weird that he allows you to bring in your friends for the test. Like, how many people could you bring in to do the test? Like 20, 30? I mean, you wouldn't really need to do anything. Just sit back and let your minions do it. Because honestly, I'm really letting my ranger and cleric here carry the day. And I'm going to have my cleric here cast a group of buffing spells on the party, and this is a little bit irritating that you have to do this every single time, and it just takes a long time to cast each particular spell. You have to see them go through the animation, and a couple of seconds passes between one spell and the other. And, later on in the game when, there's an enormous number of buffing spells, I just have tons and tons of them. I love that you could pause here in the middle of the battle. Looks like we're going up against 3 Minotaurs here, which, honestly, now that I think about it, in the SSI games, Minotaurs weren't all that strong, but I think Minotaurs, if I remember in the Monstrous Manual, were pretty tough. You couldn't really go against 1, much less 3. Speaking of which, I'm really just going to let my buddies here, because I'm realizing that I don't have very many offensive spells. Although one spell I have, Cloud of Bewilderment, I think is really, really useful. So we killed the Minotaurs here. We can grab one of the Minotaur horns. I don't know how we removed it. It seems like it would be a really grisly effort here to remove the horn of the Minotaur. Ooh, one of them had a lightning bolt scroll. That's going to be really useful. I tell you, if I did not have the scrolls and the magic staff and wands and necklaces of various things during this test, during this entire section of the game, I would have died long ago. I have no ability whatsoever without that, which, again, is another little flaw in Neverwinter Nights, that they don't possess this kind of... it's necessary. It's not optional. It's necessary to have a full party of people in order to play any Dungeons & Dragons type game. Your next challenge is one of fear. You must prove yourself a man of courage and valor. The challenge increases as you progress down the second hallway. Okay, so what do we have to do for the fear? At the end is a creature of great evil. It was my nemesis in life, and I would see it vanquished before my final passing beyond this world. It sounds challenging. Am I actually able to defeat it? If your heart is strong and you have courage, you shall prevail. Go forth and destroy it once and for all. I shall be triumphant once more. I'm pretty confident, but I assume I'm like a cocky, charismatic bard. I'm pretty sure I will be. I'm not going to bother to rest again. I'm just going to run in and see if I can do this without dying. Yeah, I think I'm going to use these clarity potions, which are really just incredibly overpowered for fighting against these obnoxious, like, fear or stun or anything in doing with mind effects. You got to use these clarity potions immediately, and I can start singing. While my other guys are casting spells or swinging swords or putting their lives on the line. I'm just hanging around in the back with some bagpipes and and singing. And I mean, I have so few spells. I'm like hurling cantrips when I'm like level, you know, maybe 5 levels to ahead of that I really should be using better stuff. But look at these spells, are pathetic. I mean, I can summon my boar, and I can do like one cloud burst or one cloud or sound burst then, and I don't think Stinking Cloud works on these weird shadow creatures, but fortunately, as they're undead, they can be turned by this cleric here. There's a stronger one down here, I think, like a Shadow Lord? Shadow Fiend, that's what it is, and that green circle around it means that if you step in that circle, you're going to be subject to the fear, so I hope somehow that these clarity potions last a lot longer. I forget what spell you can use in D&D, like Mind Blank, maybe, is going to make you immune to these spells or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just going to use some of my staff's properties of lightning and magic missile and so forth, and not even try to bother. I mean, I could run up and whack them with my magic stick. I could do that if I wanted to, but I kind of like this. It's an active combat, so it takes place in real time, but you can use a sort of turn-based method by pausing it left or right any time you want. I think that's really useful here, because I do need to pause and sort of stop and think what to do, especially if I'm going to be using a scroll or something like I am here. If you're just a melee character, you barely need to pause it at all, but if you're going to be using a lot of these, I'm going to be using a lot more of these amulets and so forth, because I just don't have anything else. I'm going to try Melf's Acid Arrow. And bizarrely, I think these Shadow Fiends have some sort of invisibility effect. So these my 2 other characters, my NPCs, they can't, I don't know if they necessarily see them, so they're just going to stand here and do nothing right next to them. I could kill one of them who was near death, but these other ones, they're not even getting close to it. What's going on? Oh no, wait, one of them did. The cleric is coming closer, and she's able to hit him, but, I mean, no, she left. She just wandered away. I don't know why this is happening. Is it a glitch, or is it because he's sort of invisible? They're not afraid, and he's currently, because he has the skulls around him like that, that means he's been turned, and I think the turn property actually, monk stuff. This I can't use as, actually I think I can use it because I have the use magic item ability, which I didn't know that you could use monk gear in order to do that. In order to use monk stuff that way. I mean, I don't know. Or did I have him in... I didn't have him in follow mode, did I? Oh, no, I set him into follow mode here to try to get him close, but now for some reason that he's not turned, now they see him and run towards him when he's dangerous again and could potentially kill us. So I don't know what was going on there, if that was a glitch or a bug or something, but you're going to run into something like that. I feel like it's not a bug, it's just some sort of nonsense to do with the or the D&D 3rd edition rule set here. And this is a Shadow Lord, is that what this is? Yeah, Shadow Lord, and he has a pretty cool falchion that we can get, although I don't believe I can use it. Whoa, almost died right there. That came very, very close to dying, but managed to skirt by that just quickly enough. My ranger is really just handling this perfectly. I mean, I'm trying to run up with my magic stick and hit these guys, but really I can't really... I mean, I don't even know if this counts as a magic weapon, to be honest, the staff that I have here. I mean, it looks cool, but oddly enough, this test that he's giving us here is a test of our courage, but he didn't say that we can't use clarity potions to make us immune to fear. So yeah, this is the thing we're supposed to be afraid of. The Balrog was his big enemy in life, although clarity potion almost ended. And we would immediately, I think, run away from this guy if we didn't have that clarity potion, because he has that green circle around there. So we're really kind of cheating our way through this, because we don't have any way really to lose. We just took the potions. You know, it's like taking steroids, in order to win a certain sporting event here. I mean, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but... You know, we just took a potion. It didn't prove our courage. It proved our intelligence and the fact that we have money and can go buy a simple potion that anybody can get at the corner store. But anywho, I mean, we got it. We want to just get some magic items. Does it really matter how you solve the quest? I mean, this spirit knight guy is obviously not the brightest sort in the entire world to be hanging around here for 100 years, waiting for people to stumble into his gigantically elaborate tomb. I'm just realizing this now. Is this supposed to just be his tomb? Because this must have taken, like, decades to build. That's so huge. But anyway, congratulations on your victory. It was but an illusion to help you fight the demon within yourself. But you have faced fear and come away victorious. I am most impressed. I am ready for the final challenge. What is it this time? A dragon, perhaps? Nay, you have already proven your strength and courage. Now I test your character. Uh-oh. Yes, you may be requested to get down off the fence, as it were, and make a moral decision. Life is full of surprises, is it not? So it would seem. And, this is the only one where we're not allowed to bring our friends with us. You cannot die during this test, but if you fail, I shall not pass my legacy to you. Also note that no one has ever passed this test. Ever. Well, that's encouraging. Alright, let's get down to it. Very well, you must go to the end of the hall alone and retrieve for me the flower given to me by my lady love years ago. That's all? You may not leave the challenge before obtaining the flower, you will fail the test, and you will not receive any boon. Well, that seems pretty simple. I mean, is there a monster in the way? Or then you have nothing to worry about, Bard. I shall teleport you into the test area. Do not be alarmed. As you wish, I'm ready. Okay, so this test, it seems pretty obvious what you're supposed to do here. I can't imagine anyone ever failing this test because it's so straightforward what he wants you to do here. We're approached by this creepy little hobbit guy, Bedak Dabble. Oh, there, you got a minute? What are you doing down here, you filthy little halfling? I've been trying to figure out how to get to the damn treasure, that's what. Have you heard about the Spirit Knight's test? If I played by the rules, I would have. I would have. I tried fighting that bloody Minotaur, but nearly got killed in the process. I didn't even want to try the test of fear. I mean, that makes sense. But here's an easier way. If you're interested, I could use some help. I reckon I know how to break into the vault. I don't want to hear any more of this. I'm confident I can complete this final task without resorting to thievery. This spirit hangs around for years, waiting and watching with such dedication, and you want to steal from him? Maybe while we're at it, we can deal with him as well, so you can kill the spirit? Wow. Okay, I'm sick of dancing to his tune. What's your plan? Normally I jump at the chance, but I'm really doing well here, and I don't want to spoil it. Maybe you should try a little harder on the test before giving up. I mean, this doesn't prove, again, my ability or lack thereof. It just proves that I'm intelligent enough to know what you want. I can just learn to be servile to what a lawful good character would want. I'm not actually being good here. I love, by the way, that this says a wounded man, but then it says uninjured. Oh, thank God, I thought no one was going to find me. I was attacked by one of those savages down south. They've taken over this whole area, so I came down here to hide and mend my wounds. Do you need further healing? That's kind of you to offer, but I'm okay. Just weak from hunger and worry. I've got to get back to my family in Bracksford. Certainly, sir. I might get into trouble, but I won't ignore someone in need. So this is obviously another part of the test, that he wants us to help someone instead of worrying about our own selfish desire to get his treasure. Saints be praised! Thank you so much, sir. Not at all. Come with me. Well done. Everyone else ignored the wounded man and failed the test, at least from my point of view. Kings and rules and laws come and go, but the only thing that matters is life. Remember that on your quest. I couldn't ignore the wounded man in spite of your explicit orders. And your compassion has proven you worthy. You know when to break the rules, and that is a quality that I find appealing. Respectfully, sir, I find that rather odd. How did you, a knight of the crown, come to view the law and order with such disdain? That's a good point, Elise. I mean, you are a paladin, right? Well, madam, living under the reign of a king that used the law to work his own ends does tend to make one somewhat jaded. And this is just filling us in. I think I understand your point about some of the past of Aielund. Even so, many years removed from life, I can tell that you are disappointed with my actions, madam. All I can tell you is that when the kingdom faces what it is to come, you will truly understand what I went through. Are you saying you know the future? Is something going to happen? Well, technically, something's going to always happen, you know? I mean, that's what the future means, but something is always going to happen, Bard. It is the duty of people such as you and Elise here to prepare to defend the people during these times. I will be ready for whatever comes, spirit. It is in the door to the south, near where you came in. Here is my key. If I may ask, what happened to you that caused the king to send you into exile? He ordered me to quell an uprising in the village of my birth, in spite of the fact that the people were starving. Instead, I sent food that was earmarked for a royal banquet to the village and saved their lives. It was very charitable of you. A pity it cast you into disgrace. So yeah, that's what happened. Things turned out for the best, though. I enjoyed my time much more in the local community and was of great service thereafter. And now I can finally depart this world knowing that my legacy will continue. Good luck to you, Michael Arnheim. Farewell. Rest well, Sir Knight. And I leveled up from that. Sweet. And, Yeah, I like that we're filled in a little bit on the background of the country of Aielund here, because we learn that Aielund was apparently, at some point a century ago, in a very crucial part of its history that we're going to learn more about later on, the king became autocratic and tyrannical and violent, and he began to be harmful to the people of the world. And that may happen again later on in this story, and Nelis specifically is going to have to make a very important choice about what to do if your own country that you feel patriotic towards turns autocratic and violent. I decided to choose Red Dragon Disciple 2 here, which seems like a bit of a mistake, because I really should have been going for getting more spell levels, especially spell level number 3, which would allow me to get Fireball, which I am not able to get in this act, tragically, because I didn't upgrade Bard enough. And you can get his gear here, which is standard heavy stuff, a longsword, plate mail, tower shield for a fighter or a paladin. Although the longsword can be used by a bunch of different people. Tragically, Nelis cannot use a longsword. A longsword is considered a martial weapon, and clerics in Dungeons & Dragons can only use simple weapons, which include, I believe, clubs, flails, maces, spears, shorts. I don't know if short swords are part of it, but long swords are definitely not part of that. So she cannot use that, although later on we can multi-class her as a fighter and she can use that stuff. Or is it a paladin? Yeah, paladin, I think, and she gets the martial ability. I wish we could upgrade her ourselves and, and just upgrade her that way, because that would be really useful. I mean, there's no reason that she shouldn't get that feat. But anyway, we can at least give her this armor, which is considerably better than the medium armor that she's wearing now. And I believe we can give her the tower shield that the knight had to get her AC up a little bit, which is, I think, kind of pitiful at this point. I mean, it's... As a cleric, I really like that the clerics in D&D have huge defensive capabilities, but low attacking abilities. They're all about tanking damage, but not necessarily about dealing it back towards them. And we can just barely... Her strength is pretty low, because she only has a 116, and my 116 carrying capacity, which is the same as mine. But anyway... I'm looking really weird here because I'm wearing this Helm of Presence, and, wearing a knightly helm. It's weird that this game, helms do not increase armor class, unless they have some sort of magical property. It's not like standard armor. The only armor that increases armor class naturally is the chest armor that you wear, which is a little bit weak, I think, compared to the complexity in a game like The Elder Scrolls or Might and Magic, I think, also did this, and Wizardry, where you can get separate headpieces, gauntlets, maybe leg pieces or boots even, to go along with it. But anyway, let's head out and actually fight these barbarians that we've been dealing with up till this point. I don't think the barbarians are all that tough. As I recall, although there are a few barbarian shamans that can cast some sort of magic ability. So I'm going to get our buffing skills up a bit here, which again is a little bit tedious that we have to do this every single time to get all of the buffing stuff going and just kind of sit there and twiddle our thumbs while we wait for it to do this. Neverwinter Nights was originally conceived, and I don't know if it was necessarily sold this way, but a lot of people that defend it say it was more conceived to be an architecture for D&D games that, that you can DM a group of real-life players playing here. And I think if you were doing this amongst an actual group of people, if you could find 3, 4, 5, 6 people to play this with, along with the DM, and good luck doing that, because it's probably not all that common to be able to find that. This section might be a little bit less boring, because, you'd be doing all this, but you'd also be sitting there talking with one another, just shooting the breeze, talking about what you're going to do with... Later on in the game, it would seem like... Ooh, I love that there's impaled bodies and heads here, sort of indicating that the barbarians are coming. Okay, these barbarians have reputation for being very good fighters and extremely vicious too, so don't hold back when things get bloody. Oh, I won't. But this cloud of bewilderment is just amazing. Look at this. Look at that! They're stunned! They can't do anything! And best of all is that the AI is not smart enough to not go into the cloud. So some cases, I think they would just run directly into it. And look at that, will save versus mind affecting failure. I wonder if more magic inclined classes would be more likely to be hurt by that or not. I'm not sure. But anyway, this Cloud of Bewilderment is just killing it. Look at this. It's amazing. Look, they're just... I'm going to cast an Ice Storm on these guys with my wand here. I'm glad that they... you get... if you're a magic character, a caster character, you get that Ice Wand as sort of like a little sop to you, in case the sword and the armor are no good for you. But that was awesome! That was incredible! Did you see that? I think I just killed him. I killed him right there. And that might have been a coup de grace because he was asleep or stunned. That was freaking amazing. I mean, this is great. Oh, well, he woke up again. I mean, I can't really whack someone with my magic stick enough, but if I could only control the other characters, I would cast the Cloud of Bewilderment, and then, oh, I killed him. I killed that Barbarian Scout with my magic stick. I am epic. Did you see that? It said I killed him with my magic stick, and that is pretty awesome. I don't know what this light is over me now. It must be one of the buffing spells. That looks kind of weird there, but I don't know if there was I guess the Shaman wasn't here. Maybe they're later on. These barbarians are kind of pathetically poor savages. They don't really have any good items or weapons on them. I kind of feel bad for them. I can see why they'd be attacking civilized people to try to steal their stuff. Wait, is that the Shaman? That's got to be the Shaman. He has some kind of stone skin on. Way back there in the far back. Yeah, there's Barbarian Shaman. That's guys... The casters are sort of the artillery of the D&D world, if you can put it in military terms, that... They're very easy to, they can be harmed very easily if you get close to them for the most part, but they can deal enormous amounts of damage at range. And I'm almost running out of items here, and I have to be very careful not to use all of the charges, because I think if you use all of the charges on all of the special attacks that your staff will do, for some reason or another, the staff will literally be destroyed in your hand. Like it just explodes and you can never use it again. It doesn't even turn into a regular magic staff. If you use all of the charges of your special attacks, it's dead forever. Which is pretty goofy, I gotta say. Do they have anything good stuff over here? Oh, 3 gold pieces? Are you kidding me? A couple of bolts? What do you have crossbow bolts for? Your barbarians? Oh wait, no, silence. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, it never seems to work. I mean, there's also a problem in this game of every enemy seems to have, like, amazing spell resistance. I mean, using something like sleep or silence, it's just... It's impossible to get it to work, and it seems so pointless, and this mage doesn't even have anything on him. Come on. Shaman doesn't even have, like, a magic stick or anything I could take? Well, anyway... There's sort of a theory with video games that the most effective attack or strategy in general in a game is something that you're automatically going to use no matter what. And so if you provide someone with multiple ways in order to accomplish something, they're going to by default use the most complicated... Oh, there's some sort of mountain... Oh, a cougar here. Okay, well anyway. I wonder if he was stealthed. I bet he would probably... Anyway, they're going to automatically use... the most complicated... they're going to use the most simple thing imaginable in order to get things done. So it may not necessarily behoove you to put in a number of very overly complicated ways to get things done. And silencing a mage in this game is not very useful at all. You see, it's just much better to run up on someone and start whacking away with them with your weapon. Trying to silence a mage, it just seems so pointless because they're never really far enough away for you not to be a melee danger to them. I think I accidentally did not rest long enough because the fade to black thing when you rest is still weirding me out. So I didn't really rest long enough here, but I'm just going to chance it and go into the Barbarian Lands anyway, I think, without even bothering to rest. I mean, it's not really all that... It's not super dangerous, and I can just reload if there's a thing. I would sort of like to sit here and put all of my items into the proper place and so forth, but I'm just going to cast like a little thing like, I don't even remember what shield does. It may just increase armor class a little bit, and maybe some sort of magic resistance, but not by that much. Over here in the Barbarian Lands, which are suitably covered in ice, like some sort of Skyrim-esque Viking wasteland, we're going to take damage, 4 cold damage every few turns, or every few rounds, excuse me, as we're running through here, but because I know exactly where to go on the map, I think I can get there fast enough without it being all that much of an issue. So I'm just going to run across here. The real big issue are the wolves. There are actually these creatures called, I think, winter wolves or ice wolves that can attack with a sort of frost breath, sort of a cone of cold that does a lot of damage. Yeah, so these, I think they're also like stealth. There they are. Yeah, I mean, I hope they're not stealth, because that's actually pretty dangerous. And they took a huge amount of health. 15 damage from just this ice breath attack from this wolf. Jeez, that's a lot of damage right there. But I can run up and hit him with my magic stick. I don't think they go down pretty quickly. They just hit hard in that first blast. Or maybe they can do multiple blasts, I don't know. And I'm going to start singing, of course, because, I mean, why not? You know, that's an important contribution to the battle. And he's almost killed my cleric, but I think she healed herself. Good. Now, the area we're trying to get to is sort of like this secret side area of the barbarian village here. I don't know if the barbarians are hanging around in the village itself, but I don't want to tempt fate and go bother to fight them. I'm just going to run right into the cave and that we need to reach in order to kill the chief. Anyway, I'm glad that they don't seem to be actually hanging around out here in the front section, waiting for me to attack as soon as we enter. I think that's a nice little grace they've given us. So we're just going to rest here, and it's going to be a real rest this time so I can get back to where I was before and get my spells back and get everything up. We can actually before we go fight the chief, we can actually go and rescue the original chief of the barbarian tribe, and he can help us out. And he is like a level 10 barbarian or something like that, so he's really useful to our little mission here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any of his items or armor on him, but he's a barbarian. He just needs an axe and he'll be fine. You know, he doesn't need a whole lot of stuff there to go do this. The barbarians, I feel like in some ways that this new version of the Aielund Saga, this enhanced edition or whatever, was made easier, because I feel like I died even on much stronger characters like barbarians or paladins. I would have died, whereas in this one as a bard I'm really not, but maybe I've just played it so many times I know exactly what to do, and I'm just looking out there. Or maybe the entire thing is just due to Cloud of Bewilderment, because as you'll see, this is once again incredibly overpowered. This is really reminding me of that spell in the SSI games, Stinking Cloud. And it's amazing that we're not even affected by it. That's something that in an older video game we definitely would be affected by our own Stinking Cloud here, but apparently we're not, which is really, really cool that we're not even being hurt here by that. That's pretty neat. It actually seems a wee bit unfair. I think it would be better if we were actually... I forget what difficulty setting I have this on. Maybe I just need to set the difficulty setting higher, and then maybe we will be able to be affected by our own Stinking Cloud here. But I'm not exactly sure about that. I will use a Cure Serious Wounds potion right here, and before we go and rescue the Barbarian Chief, wherever he is, he's somewhere around here. This cave is kind of confusing. I'm not exactly sure where this prison that they're keeping him is. Here it is. Here is the Barbarian Chieftain, and I am out, unfortunately, of Clouds of Bewilderment, but I know what I can do. I can sing! And fortunately these guys, my ranger here, Dante, he has only like a +1 greatsword, and he is just... these barbarians really are just not putting up very much of a fight, frankly. And I think we can just batter down this door here. And yeah, it's kinda... it kind of makes a mockery a little bit of the abilities of the thief to just be able to break down these doors. But honestly, and you know, I mean, in real life, that's probably what you would be doing, right? I mean, you'd just be smashing them. Okay, and here's the barbarian guy, Morg Morick Far Eagle. Who are you? My name is Michael. Why are you imprisoned? I used to be the chief of this tribe until Ereg came along with his dreams of conquest and glory. How did Ereg take over as a leader? I mean, how did this happen? You're supposed to be a big, tough barbarian. He was supported by our elder shaman, Told Black Tiger. Ereg must rule, but Tarek tells him what to do. We must finish both of them to free my people. Okay, I mean, sure, why not? Come along. I mean, you'd probably be a big help. You will need my help, Michael. Together they are extremely powerful. Whereabouts can I find them? The dishonorable curs. They are meeting with a delegation of ogres further down into the cave. We must stop them before they join forces and tear the region apart. Alright, come along with us and we'll put an end to this. Now, Morick shows up later on in the series in another chapter of the Aielund Saga, and I wonder what would happen if he died in this one. I mean, presume nothing, and he would just turn up alive in the next one, but who knows? Maybe he would die before then or something. I'm going to give Dante some gauntlets of ogre power here to get his strength up a little bit, which is nice, and maybe give Morg some of this studded leather armor. I watch a lot of YouTube videos by people like Scalia Gladiatoria and Scalagrim and Metatron, and they I think they all have spoken about the quote-unquote studded leather armor and what exactly this stuff is. It seems to be leather armor, but really it has like these round metal discs affixed to it in a concentric pattern all around it. And, you know, they've all called into question, what exactly is the point of the studs? You know, they don't really do anything. It's just sort of like an RPG trope that these things exist somehow for some reason. I think I'm going to give the Barbarian Chief this Great Axe, because I think he has a weapon proficiency in Great Axe. So I'm going to take the Sword of Valor away from him. That's really more of a Paladin than a vicious barbarian weapon anyway. So, I believe the Barbarians are somehow being pushed to this because the Aielunders are in some way encroaching imperialistically on their lands. And so, they're in this tough position, which is sort of like the tribes in Fallout New Vegas, where they don't necessarily want to join an authoritarian leader, maybe like Caesar was in New Vegas, but they kind of have to because there's no other way for them to survive unless they join together and all resist as one against the imperialistic expansion of the NCR. And I think Aielund is trying to expand into the Barbarian Lands in some ways. They kind of hint at that here and there. And this may be the only way for them to really ultimately stop that. And I'm trying to cast every cantrip I have, but these guys are just... Oh, I did kill him. I killed him with Acid Splash with 3 damage. Obviously, I'm an ultimate badass. And these guys just have trash on them. There's no magic weapons. They really are broke-ass savages. I don't even know if they have really any items. A couple of gold pieces. A spell. Magic Circle against alignment. Not super useful because I have that spell already, but whatever. I like this little forge here that actually has, like, you know, molten metal or liquid or something in it. I think it looks pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure all of these spears... I love all the spears and polearms look, because I'm a big fanatic for that type of weapon. I really like spears and polearms as weapons, because I don't think they get the love that they deserve in games where swords are just overwhelmingly beloved of these kind of games. But anyway, nothing really of use there. Unfortunately, I think you're really kind of... There's no benefit to using a two-handed weapon like a spear or a halberd in these games, and there's just the penalty of not being able to use a shield. And I think in Neverwinter Nights 2 there was a feat called Monkey Grip, which allowed you theoretically to use a two-handed weapon in one hand and a shield in the other, but it was broken in some way, and they realized you can't be allowed to do that, and so you couldn't get the benefit of using like a halberd in one hand and then a great shield in the other. They remove the armor class you would need for it or something. They always find a way to screw you. You know, I think that's just an important part of game design, that if you're going to put something in the game, you can't trick people into thinking that something could be useful, but then in a backhanded way realize, oh wait, we can't do that. If it reaches that point, then guess what you have to do? You just have to take it out of the game. You can't just keep it in the game as a broken, pointless measure that's not going to do anything or accomplish anything. You just have to get it out of there. Oh, I think there's a female. Oh, I think the Barbarian Scouts are female. I didn't notice that. That's kind of cool. I think they have throwing axes like the Franks used to have. These great axes aren't really related to anything as far as I know in history. They're sort of like the one that Morick has now sort of looks like a Labros, which is this huge double, almost like symbolic double-sided axe that the Minoans used as a symbol. I don't think it was actually used as a weapon, certainly not of that size, but weapons are always sort of overly huge in video games. It's another reason why I like the Souls games so much, is that they include plenty of like ridiculous fantasy weapons in them, but they also include in Demon's Souls and Dark Souls 1 some very basic, normal-looking weapons that actually approximate what a real weapon would look like. Not all of them are titanic and ridiculous-looking. And I have my acid flasks that I'm trying to throw here, but they're so weak they're literally doing just 1 damage. If I had those acid bombs or fire bombs, those are useful for quite a bit more time after this. And they can deal considerable amounts of damage, but I'm really just coasting on the fact that I have this extra barbarian in the party. In the old SSI games, you couldn't really play them, as far as I remember, by having just like 6 characters that were all fighters, or all fighter class characters like paladins or something. It wouldn't have worked. You needed to have people of other classes, but I have a feeling that, I'm not certain about this, but I feel like with Neverwinter Nights, you very well could play the game with a party of just like entirely fighter-based characters, and it would virtually make no difference. So that might be another reason why they did not want you to make your own party. They realized that the way the game was designed, you probably could. Oh, coup de grace! Yes, somebody got a coup de grace because they were, because they were dazed or asleep. That was awesome. I love coup de grace. Anyway, I think they realized that you could play it entirely with fighter-based characters the way that it was designed and the way combat worked. Maybe that's just something to say about Dungeons, the system, the 3rd edition system, rather than the game in particular, because I don't think that would be very plausible with an AD&D system. Looks like a storage area. These guys are really getting ready for something big. Ooh, healing kits, sweet. And an amethyst, I think amethysts are pretty in real life, but they're not really worth very much here. A diamond or a ruby or something is worth a lot. It doesn't really feel like you're collecting treasure if you find one tiny individual gem inside of these gigantic crates. I don't really feel like, and there's traps here which we can't use and can't even sell because they're considered sneaky boy goods, so we can only sell them to a licensed, or an unlicensed, I should say, black marketeer, not to a licensed dealer. And we just have one more section down here, and I'm again not going to rest. I'm just going to rely on my other characters here just to sort of carry me through this, which may or may not be a good thing, because later on in the game when I can't rely on them, I may find myself screwed, and, anywho, let's just see what happens here, see if these guys can, if we can defeat these filthy barbarians here. They're really just wearing hide armor, like armor made out of something from like a deer or a bear or something like that, so it almost feels a little bad to run up with these guys with steel weaponry and steel armor and, just destroy them, but oof. That was a lot of damage of lightning from that shaman, though. And this guy, he's got the bark skin on him. This is a spell that he has, and I kind of like the idea of having bark skin actually appear on the character. It sounds like it's an okay thing, but in reality it just looks hideous. Like, look at this. You can't You can't sit there and look at that bark skin, and you know, because it lasts for rounds and rounds and rounds, which translate to, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes on your character. It just ends up looking hideous. And so I'm going to rest again before heading down into the basement, because I believe we have to fight an ogre mage or a giant. Maybe not a giant, but some sort of ogre and maybe an ogre mage. I like that little stretching animation. I didn't realize he did that when he woke up. He sort of like stretches a little bit before he goes down there. And we're going to go down this game's traditional tunnel into oblivion down there after we once again get our buffing spells going. Probably don't even necessarily need to get the buffing spells, but I think I might as well at this stage just get that done. You know, we might as well do that. Because, I mean, who knows? I guess we could possibly need that. The studded leather armor looks sort of... He almost looks a little East Asian in a way, like armor you'd see in China or Japan. Strangely enough, by the way, I've seen that weird studded metal armor trope in East Asian kung fu films. Like there was one where, and it was by a barbarian character. It was like a Mongol or something, and he was wearing like the goofy leather armor with circular metal studs on it for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how that trope translated over there. And this was a movie, I think, from the 70s. This might have been Brave Archer, a kung fu movie from back then, or maybe Five Deadly Venoms, and fight these ogres and maybe some of their barbarian friends down there, or maybe just the ogres here. Ogre Berserker. That really sounds so cool, like he'd be so vicious and strong, but really these guys aren't very tough at all. We're more than a match for them at this point. And especially with two fighter class characters, these guys can just be wrecked pretty quickly, despite their hugeness. You know, they're twice the height and girth of a human being here, and we can just destroy them like that. But anyway, let's just head down here and see if we can fight this ogre mage dude or whatever he is, because I think he is... Oh wait, there are barbarians in here, never mind. We're going to try Stinking Cloud. I don't know if that would work on the ogre mage, and if there's like a choke point here... Oh my god, look at that. Look at the Stinking Cloud. I think the cloud... even if they make their saving throw, I think if they stay within the bounds of the cloud, they have to continue making saving throws like every round or so. You know, it's not like they're immune to it after they make their first saving throw, so that's pretty darn amazing, and these guys can just be shredded so quickly. I mean, I'm just tearing these guys apart. And that's, oh, well, this guy, he wandered away, and... Oh no, I hit him with the magic stick. Oh, and the boar hit him. Everybody's hitting him. This guy's going down. But yeah, that Stinking Cloud spell might be a wee bit overpowered there. Just a wee little bit overpowered, I would suggest. So let's just see what's in this room. I'm worried about touching any of these chests because I don't want to get poisoned. Because of like a poison cloud, but I'll check them anyway. This is all just more like flavor stuff here to show that the barbarians are getting ready to war. It's not like an actual, here's your big reward treasure chest that you can get stuff from, or a lot of meaningful stuff anyway. These guys can hopefully smash this down right here, and we'll see if there's anything, probably nothing good really in this. Get out of the way, pig. Pig, get out of the way. Come on, get out of the way. It's kind of annoying moving around here. It's hard to click on things sometimes. Alright, and, a few gems. This feels a little bit treasure-y, I guess. Treasure-like. And, probably nothing in these barrels. Some mead, some ale. We don't really need that. Can we smash open this barrel here and see if there's anything decent in it? Probably not. I mean, this is really kind of weak sauce treasure. Pretty much anything that we're going to get from the final boss that we're going to fight with these guys. Poison arrows. I don't know if we can really sell these for anything much. I don't even know if these poison arrows would ever be worth using, because poison in this game, it does reduce an enemy's strength and or constitution, I think. But that really feels like very unlikely to occur, to be honest. It feels like they would almost certainly make a saving throw, or it ultimately wouldn't matter. You know, you're not going to bother going to the... Again, it's that simplicity versus complexity thing. It's a little bit too complex to say I'm going to reduce the enemy's strength and then attack them, because they're either too weak to bother with that or too strong. Whoa, that trap nearly took almost all of my health away. That's not so good. or the enemy is too strong for it to actually function on them. And yeah, there's definitely a mage down there, an ogre mage. Ogre mages are kind of an interesting enemy in AD&D, because they're not like the stupid brutes that regular ogres are. They're actually highly intelligent, and they look a little bit different from other ogres. They sort of seem, and we're having the same invisibility problem. These guys cannot see that there is an enemy here, so they can't come and attack it. So they are just going to hang around wherever they are before coming over. Okay, I think maybe they're coming over. No, Dante is not. Yeah, they think that there's... I have to try to lure the ogre over here into my party, and then they will start attacking him. I can't just say, he's over there, go attack him. Even if I try to say attack, they're just going to sit there. I think the Barbarian Chief just raged there, and I could easily have died here. Easily have died many times over, but I just got really, really lucky with my saving throws and various buffing spells here that prevented me from dying, and I think, yeah, I think they're just... Okay, his invisibility spell ended somehow. Maybe if I cast Dispel Magic on him, if I had that spell, maybe it would have worked, but for the most part, I don't think that would really function correctly. I don't think it really would. Now, where is that door to the boss? I'm not quite sure. I know we can get the ranger that they spoke about before. He was down here. I think he's dead down here, and we can loot his corpse. There he is. There's the ranger. Tommy Smith or something like that. And yeah, he doesn't really have very much of use except for the ranger's orders on him. That's basically it. He doesn't really have much for us. But now we can finally take on the boss of these evil barbarians and hopefully kill the new chief and put the old chief, Morick, back on his barbarian throne. And, okay, Dante does not have anything to say about Tommy, which is a little weird, but whatever. And let us head over to the... I don't think I'm gonna bother resting before this, or maybe I should. Maybe I should rest before this big fight, because, I mean, this fight is definitely going to be a little bit dangerous. But, I like the little lake down here, a little underground water. That looks pretty cool. And, okay, there's the door to the boss area where we have to go fight. I think the shaman and the, I'm just going to heal everybody up here, and, the big half-orc guy, whatever his name is, in order to complete this mission and head back to town. Another trap. They keep getting me with these traps. Okay. The door's locked. Bash it down. Hopefully, I'm just going to be in the background here playing music and, inspiring everyone from the rear and not really getting involved in the combat at all, except for maybe an ice storm or something. Okay. So there's Arag the half-orc, and there is an ogre in there. Oh no, there's Told Black Tiger. There is some sort of shaman in there who might be a druid or some sort of, some kind of a spellcaster there. And maybe I could use some sort of magic missile on them to try to get something. I actually did decent damage. Multiple, I think 3 hit for 4 points of damage each. That's pretty good. So that's 12 damage from just those magic missiles. And, yeah, we can get more magic missiles. Nobody's really taking a huge amount of damage. I'm not going to even bother using the speed potions, which I could to haste everyone. So, yeah, I mean, everything went pretty good here. And I think the shaman guy, or no, not the shaman guy, this guy is invisible somehow. How is this Arag turning invisible? He has some sort of weird orcish double axe, so I don't really have anything to do here. I'm just going to sit in the background playing music. I can't even reach him if I want to. So there's not a whole lot I can do. The Barbarian Chief is close to dying, but I think he's going to be okay in the end. Yeah, everything's alright, and I think these guys have pretty good loot on them. So his head we can bring back. Door key, some good armor, some weapons. These, we probably don't have any really way to use these, but we can sell them for some decent scratch, probably. And let's see if the shaman guy has anything good on him. Not really. I mean, it feels like he might be a druid because he was using a scimitar. I don't know why that weapon was associated in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, the one before 3rd edition. This one is 3rd edition, but I don't know why in AD&D they associated them with scimitars. And here's some treasure here. Somehow just them being arranged in a grid like that makes it not really feel like treasure. so much to me. There's something a little bit too clean about it. And here are some battle plans that they have here. Although badly drawn and written, these papers detail Eric's plans to invade Bracksford and Coldney. Of interest is that he planned to occupy and not raze the towns. Also, a second wave of attackers would arrive from the northeast of Bracksford, a mercenary group known as the Steel Tigers. It mentions something about acquiring a hostage, but does not mention this person by name. Okay, so this seems to be the plan that these guys are going by. They're going to try to... It's not merely an explosion of barbarian anger. They're actually being paid or coerced to do this in some way by some sort of outside party to attack the local humans. And I'm just going to take some of the items that I have from this guy because I know the chief is going to leave us. He's not a permanent party member. He's just here for this quest. And I'm just going to redistribute some of these items back to my fighter character here. I mean, a ranger here. Because he has a ton more strength than I do and can just use these things. Whereas I can't really hang on to these and carry them, or I will be overburdened. And yeah, so I think it's just time to leave now. We're going to say goodbye to our friend Morick Far Eagle, and just thank him for all the help that we could bring and so forth. You fought well in that, my friend. With Eric eliminated, I can bring peace to my people once more. It was a mutually beneficial arrangement, Morick. Now your people will no longer attack mine. Are they really my people? I mean, I just came to this town like a couple of days ago. I don't know if they're my people. Quite true, but I believe the allies that Eric had may still be a threat to your town, Michael. You should hurry back and see to its safety. I shall. Farewell, Morick. So, he will now leave the party and we can run back. I think I should probably rest before leaving because I don't want to... Oh, maybe the door to this is actually located sort of above the door where we were originally, so I wonder if you could somehow find this when you're coming here. Yeah, so it's actually pretty near the other secret entrance, so maybe you could find this secret entrance and just skip the entire thing and just go kill... Well, I guess you need the key to get through the back anyway, so it's probably something you can't do. You probably just have to go along that one way of doing things. You can't really bother with it. So this 4 damage is really nothing really to worry about here. So we're going to be wrapping up the episode pretty soon after we return to town and turn in our quest. And we are just going to be heading back there. I hope that my unfortunate leveling up actions of going for a second level of... Red Dragon Disciple have not screwed me up too much. I really think that it probably will be a little bit dangerous for me in the long run. But ultimately, I'm just going to have to rely... I'm going to probably buy a ton of scrolls and amulets and wands of various potions and things in order to see me through, so I don't really have to worry about not having the appropriate spells at my level, because I can get Fireball, but it's not even at next level, I found out. It's at I think the level after that. So I misread something about how... Because I thought that at level 6 I would get 3rd level spells, but maybe as a bard I don't do that for some reason. I'm not quite sure of why. That kind of sucks, but whatever. I'm just going to check out this area back here. I don't think there's anything over here. There are a number of other entrances to the Barbarian Lands back in this area that you can go to, but all of these I think are farther away from the entrance, so it's a little bit more dangerous to enter over here. And the wind doing that 4 damage could prove to be a much more significant danger if you ran back. If you did not know where to go and were running around through these other entrances to the Barbarian Lands, and it could be just much more dangerous. I think at the tanner and leather shop in Bracksford you could actually purchase some special cloaks that give you damage resistance to cold that will see you through, and you can buy 3 of those for pretty cheap and equip all your party with that. But as I said, I didn't really bother with that. I just decided to run in and not really even worry about that. So I'm going to go return some this quest to Ariel and see if the enemy is going to attack soon, the town of Bracksford, and see what's going on there. Because those Steel Tigers might be attacking the enemy pretty soon. I'm just going to grab my boar just in case things get dangerous and get some buffing spells going to see how things are happening now. And presumably also cast Protection from Magic and maybe also get some sort of maybe I'm going to wait to start singing. Singing is pretty quick, so I don't really... It's kind of weird that you don't actually need an instrument to sing as a bard. You really should have to buy and equip an instrument in order to sing, and there are instruments in the game that I think that only bards can use, but they're not really played. They don't have to be equipped. They're just a magic item that you can use. It doesn't really feel really like an instrument. Look at the she spawns out of the sky here because they can't figure out a way to get her here. You made it back. Good to see you, Michael. So how did it go? Ereg is dead, and the rest of the barbarians are no longer a threat. Everything worked out for the best. Yes, with them out of the picture, this region is safe once more. I think this requires a celebration, don't you? In a moment, I also found these battle plans that the barbarians were working on. Really? Hand them over. I'd like to see those. Yeah, I bet you would. Fairly straightforward. Plunder, pillage. Looks like they wanted to move into Bracksford instead of destroying the town. Fair enough, I suppose. Must be hard living down there in the mountains. Don't you mean up there in the mountains? It says something here about other groups that was to come in the north. I'll have my people stay on alert for anything suspicious. Indeed, shall we head over to the Bracksfordshire Arms? Sounds like a good idea. You know, get a drink and kind of celebrate after all this. That might be a good way to work this out. I was about to suggest that. Here's a reward, 1,000 gold pieces. That is a pittance compared to what I have now, as promised. Let me take that head off of you. It wouldn't be appropriate to turn up with a rotting head in your pack now. But I was going to kick it around for a while. I had this idea for a sport called headball. You know, I am chaotic, so I might say something like that. Who knows? And we got 1,000 experience points. That's not too bad. That's not too shabby. And thankfully we don't have to carry that head around with us anymore, which is a little bit... That's nice. She laughs in spite of herself. Never you mind, Michael. The civilized folks of this town don't need you playing with it in front of their faces. Aw, that kind of sucks. Hey, anyway, that most important dignitary has arrived from Highmark, none other than Princess Criosa herself. I'm sure she'll be eager to meet you, along with the mayor. Let's not keep them waiting. Hey, who's that? Who's what where? And she dies. And yeah, here are the Steel Tiger mercenaries that are attacking the town right now, and it's pretty dangerous. And, yeah, they're running around. These guys are a little bit more difficult than the barbarians, but not by much. And my cleric was able to cast some kind of spell, like Hammer of the Gods or Flame Strike or something, to do basically what Cloud of Bewilderment does, and now they're all stunned and they can just be killed instantly, you know? So that's pretty nice. I'm glad that these guys are going down this quickly. I think we can also loot that red chainmail armor off them, but it's not worth very much. And it's very heavy, so if I was a fighter class character, I might want to do that, but I'm not going to bother. I don't know if we need those battle plans for anything, probably not. But, oh, some of them have like little potions here, but Potion of Cure Light Wounds is kind of pathetic at this stage. I might be able to use that to top myself off, but, well, anyway, I'm going to close the episode right here and pick up the action as we chase after Princess Criosa, who has been kidnapped at this point by the Steel Tigers. And, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really anything else to say. My name is Michael. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to check out some of my other videos in the Neverwinter Nights series that I'm going to post above here if you haven't seen previous ones in this title. And thank you very much, and have a good night.
Hail the dead.